Battlefield 5 is out, even though I've been playing it a week or so, as well as a lot of you guys have too. They did some complicated stuff with early access to play the game, as they typically do through Origin. But either way, it's all out now. I'm level 25 of 50, probably 15, 20 hours of gameplay in. But I've also been getting blasted with messages from you guys of how I've been liking it or disliking it. Some of you guys not even knowing that I've been playing it, since I haven't really been doing much content on it yet. For those of you guys that don't know, I have been streaming it over on my Facebook if you want to come hang out. But I know it's a hugely different audience than what is over here on YouTube, which is why I upload a lot of it to my second channel. A lot of you guys haven't checked it out. There's going to be some more gameplays of Battlefield going there soon. But I also want to keep up with you guys, as well as get your feedback and what you're thinking about the game and how you've been experiencing it, if you're even planning on getting it or not. I know there's a lot of guys that are new to my channel as well, so I want to just give you a bit of backstory. And then from that, what I see is some of the biggest changes from the game. Anyways, I started playing Battlefield back in about Battlefield 3, and I fell in love with how difficult it was to actually snipe somebody, as well as the jets, which is a whole nother thing I don't want to do 10 minutes on right now. Fast forward, I've been able to do a ton of really cool partnerships with Battlefield and DICE, and been able to make tip videos for them. Some of them even going in Battlefield 1, which fast forward 2 was a game that I loved. The setting of World War I, the graphics, the war stories. But there was also a lot of problems. One of the biggest things for me being that the DLCs came out so slow. I was in need of more content for it. Custom games weren't there. And once the DLC did come, it was so split between people that got it, I really couldn't find many games for it. Not that much weapon variety of being a World War I game with attachments and things that I was used to in the past. It was a game that I ended up wanting more from, and ultimately, it was also the time when PUBG started to come out. And that was my first experience with a Battle Royale game. And I personally was hooked. So what does this come out with Battlefield 5? Well, I just want to give you a bit of background because I'm at a point where I'm ready to play a respawn shooter here. I've been playing some Call of Duty multiplayer. The shooting there and actually having a ballistic system has been fantastic. But now that this is out, it's been a fun go-to for a respawn shooter, but it still doesn't have the Battle Royale yet, so I'm still enjoying the hell out of Call of Duty as well. And it's blackout mode. I haven't been covering everything Battlefield as I have in the past, though, with this one coming out. And visually, it does look extremely similar to the last one. If you look at World War I versus World War II, there's a lot of similarities in guns, the way they look, the settings. As for how the games actually play, though, there is quite a bit different. And that's what I kind of wanted to focus on with this video. Some of what I think are the biggest changes. And I've kind of talked about this in the past, but now that it's out, I think it's due for another recap. The biggest difference to me is the gunplay. In my opinion, one of the best decisions they made was changing it to how they have here, where when you shoot, your guns are accurate to where the scope is. There's a proper recoil system that you can actually counter and stay accurate with guns, even in full auto, if you can control that recoil. In addition, they've changed how suppression works, where if you're taking a bunch of fire, the enemy's missing, it's not going to make you less accurate anymore because of it. If you aim up and put that sight on, the bullet will go where you're trying to put it. So in practice, while I've been playing, it's nice actually being able to it feels like I'm actually practicing managing recoil while I'm playing. And especially on different maps, I'm customizing my loadout and the type of gun that I'm using for it. Snipers kind of have their own category here, but also included in the weapon play. They've been changed from Battlefield's one sweet spot mechanic where you had to have the right sniper at the right range, and then you could get a one-shot kill, which I really enjoyed when it first came out, because it was a new challenge. It was finding the right gun to use in the right situation. But ultimately, over time, I got over it. And it turned into me always using the same sniper because most of the gunfights happened at this range. And it became frustrating because if somebody else had the right sniper for a farther range that I just happened to get in a fight on, I wasn't as into it. So I'm happy that sniping is back to a more traditional system. It's probably taking you 2 shots to kill somebody, and you need a headshot to one-shot them. My second point is the classes. These feel similar to Battlefield 1 and previous Battlefields in that there are 4 distinct classes. You use them for their specific gun set that they have, although they are slightly tweaked in this one. SMGs are going to the medics. Assault getting those semi-autos as well as the assault rifles, amongst a bunch of other changes between equipment and what equipment's even available in this one. Any of the classes can also revive as long as it's within your own squad, and of course medics do it much faster and can revive anybody. That change alone, especially for the squad play, has been a bunch of fun. And a change I welcome, since you could respawn on your team whenever you want anyways, it makes more sense that you could also just pick them back up and revive them. Medic still feels extremely powerful, though, because of how fast you can revive, and especially because how important meds are now. They made another adjustment from the beta where everybody spawns with one self-heal that they can use. After that, though, you need to find a medic or go to one of the hell stations in order to heal up. I can definitely feel how they've toned down the attrition from what it was in the beta. In the same sense, I'm not hurting for ammo as often as I was in the beta. Support stations around the map are actually really nice to be able to just grab a bunch of ammo from, or get more ammo than what you initially had. You don't have to rely on that support player, but it also is incredibly helpful to have that support player there. And support's guns have been some of the coolest to use of all the classes. The machine guns they have are some of the most accurate and powerful, and on top of that, the ones you actually need to mount up and bipod will only aim down sight if you do bipod, because that thing shreds through people, is deadly accurate, has bullet penetration depending on the walls, and when you see those guys prone as a sniper, oh, it's free headshots. That's by far what I've been playing the most of so far. The ability to just one-shot somebody like that from so far away is crazy. And there's almost no sway on the guns. They are extremely powerful. Equipment-wise, though, the best use that I've had for them is just the spawn beacon. They made it so the flare has the smallest radius in the world, and really the most effective way to spot somebody is by hitting them once with your sniper shot, and after that they are marked for a short period of time for everybody to see, depending on what kit you're using. But then, of course, you're also extremely vulnerable to tanks. Having a proper squad composition, or having a team without enough medics or without enough assault, you can feel a difference between that and what you probably need some more of. My third point is the progression. This is something that was definitely lacking in Battlefield 1 for me, and I feel like there's more here in Battlefield 5, but from everything that I've talked with a lot of my friends as well, is it does seem a little short, and that the maximum level is 50, and each gun also has a bunch of different cosmetic changes that you can get on it, but there's not much in terms of attachments. Instead, they've gone for a specialization system, which I think is a good solution to the fact that there wasn't the vast amount of crazy attachments that they have in modern guns compared to World War II. So there's still an overall level that you gain from getting experience, but there's also separate levels for each of the classes. That maxes at level 20. As you progress through the levels of each specific class, you'll unlock more guns for that class and equipment. It's been great. As I've been playing, I've always been wanting to switch the class so I can level that up and unlock more guns for it. But on top of that, you have to use the specific gun, level that gun up, in order to unlock its specialization tree, which is kind of like two different talent trees. And it's not difficult to upgrade those guns and get it to level 4, which is what you need for all of the different guns in order to get them basically fully upgraded. But what I really like is it doesn't stop there if you don't want it to. You can then start doing assignments for those guns once you've got it up there in order to get some more camos unlocked for it. And from what I could tell, this doesn't seem to be locked by how many you can do in one day. You can just keep on doing these assignments. I will say some of them are kind of annoying, and I don't know if they're the best. Like, I had to do a sniper getting 20 kills in one game while prone, which I got so close so many times. But the good thing was, there's actually multiple ways to complete it. Sometimes the challenges were completely different, but in this case, all of those kills that I was getting while prone were still adding up, and if I got a total of 60, it was completed. But me playing like that really doesn't help the objective, the team. Like, I'm doing my own thing out there, prone in the back of the map. Whereas if it was just a challenge to get headshots, then it's working towards building skill of aiming for the head. And overall, though, it's early, but I'm still having a lot of fun with the challenges. The one thing with the specializations, though, is you do have to also spend the in-game currency you earn as you play the game on them. You can complete more assignments to get that, and you can also spend that currency on cosmetics as well, which I like, that you can earn the cosmetics by playing in-game. Not only by assignments, but by just earning enough currency to choose the items that you want to get. The fourth thing, I've kind of talked about this in passing already, is the spotting, and it is quite different from previous battlefields, in that you no longer can just spot people by smashing that one button, having the indicator over their head. You just aim at that little indicator, regardless if it's through smoke or whatever. They're on the map, throw a grenade where it shows on the mini-map, and you got them. This is something we saw play out in the beta, although to a much different effect, and now that it's in its final version, the way that it works is on your squad, you can hit that spotting button, and instead of just spotting all players that you're looking at, it puts a ping on the map, similar to your Rainbow Six Siege. You can then verbally call relative positions to where that ping is, or your team might know that there's enemies in that area where you pinged. If you ping directly on a tank or directly on a player, it'll even show up in red, but that ping won't follow where they go. It's stationary. If you want to put an indicator over an enemy's head for everybody to see, you need to be in a support, using a light machine gun and hitting near the enemy, or just missing your shots to the point where it'll put a red flashing diamond over their head. Or if you're a sniper, using the spotting tool to actually stay highlighted on them, and tracking will keep the indicator over their head as well as show them up on the minimap. Or if you have the right thing selected as that sniper, when you hit the enemy with your bullet, it'll put an indicator over their head like the old school Battlefield did, where you'll see which class they are, it'll track with them for a short period of time. But overall, there are far fewer options when you're looking across that map to keep little red diamonds over all those enemies' heads. It's a lot more difficult to spot them, to stay on target, and take them out. I really like this change personally, because I feel like I'm having to scan a lot more, and it's not just aiming at those red icons. It's still part of it, but it's manual. The planes have more struggle killing infantry, and the tanks seem to struggle just a little bit more, but also on PC due to the fact that you can't move as fast as your sensitivity anymore. And that leaves me to my final point, the road ahead with Battlefield 5. They've already announced that all of the DLC for this game is going to be included with your initial purchase. The Deluxe Edition lets you play early, but there's nothing else that you need to, there's no DLC you need to buy, Season Pass. There's always been a split between the people that buy the DLC and don't buy the DLC, and you don't get to play with your friends, or you could play with them, but then you didn't get XP. Now it's just all included. This is one of the greatest changes that they're making. But we also don't know what's specifically to come from this, how much of it there's going to be, and is it going to be good? When Battlefield 1 first came out, within a few weeks, they dropped their first DLC, but it was small, and then it was multiple months before we saw the actual DLC that we had paid for. Part of their whole launch with this, though, is that there's going to be constantly new maps, new gear, new armies and soldiers every day, week, and month, directly quoted from their website. So it seems like this is going to be something that continues to grow and expand constantly, which I'm hopeful for, but I'm very much still in a wait-and-see mode. We're also still waiting on their big launch of Firestorm, their battle royale in the largest Battlefield map ever. This is probably what I am the most excited for Battlefield 5. This is supposedly going to be coming in March of 2019. My guess is we're going to see some type of public test environment to play at an earlier date, start testing it out. Either way, I'm very excited to see what Firestorm is all about, because looking at the maps, looking at the modes that are currently in the game, to me, the modes are all very well designed for the maps. The maps all have very unique feelings to them. Every time we've launched into a new map, I've been excited to play the different style that map provides. And I just recently learned that it's not just team deathmatch when you queue into the light infantry 16 versus 16 type mode, but it's also domination, frontline, breakthrough. So it's a good way to change up the playstyle. And then, of course, grand operations, if you have time for a longer mission, feels a lot more cohesive because it's just one giant game rather than separate ones like operations in Battlefield 1. Although I still have yet to see a day 4 on any of the grand operations for that one life, one magazine overtime. That being said, there's still quite a few bugs in all of these modes. A lot of visual glitches and sometimes things that make it so it doesn't even make the game finishable, although I haven't run into that personally yet. My biggest frustration, which is something that seems to have been around in Battlefield for a long time, is that you might slide down a ledge or you can't quite get your character to walk over this debris. Or you get stuck in a little corner every once in a while. You're able to vault out, but you can get stuck for a second or two. In addition, the server browser, at least on PC, is very weird for trying to find games with your friends, although it has been easier than ever before for me to just invite them to a squad and join in. It's just most of the games we join are pretty much full, and somebody's always left waiting for somebody to leave the game. Even though I customize the search results, it seems like most of the games are with only 1 or 2 slots at most open. That's not going to be enough for 4 people on a team. I don't know how long it's going to take to unlock all the stuff that's currently in the game, including all the assignments, which seem like they're going to take a long time, but also all the content they said that they're going to be bringing to this game. But my hope is that this lasts longer than other Battlefields in the past, especially with all of the DLC being included and keeping everybody together right out of the gate. And with Firestorm coming out in March, if that is a solid Battle Royale mode and everybody's not completely on to the next thing, which I don't think they will be, I'm personally still really deep into Battle Royales, I think there's quite a bit potential for longevity with this. So I'm optimistic coming out of this. I'm having a lot of fun in the multiplayer right now, but I'm also playing a lot of different games right now. That's kind of keeping me balanced out. I'm curious of what you guys think about this game, as well as maybe what you're playing, in the comments down below. I know this is a longer video as well. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so maybe we'll change up how we do these in the future. Give me some feedback. Happy Thanksgiving to all you guys that are in the States. I'm spending some time with the family, but wanted to get at least the commentary out to you folks. That's it for this one, though. Thanks so much for watching. This is StoneMountain64. Over and out.